What do you need to know about potentially a Bitcoin ETF? It seems inevitable that two of the hottest areas in the investment world will meet up sooner or later. For cryptocurrency enthusiasts and just regular investors that are interested in capitalizing on the popularity of ETFs, the possibility of an exchange-traded fund that tracks BTC is the best type of opportunity for this connection. However, there have been some growing pains and just general problems in launching what may be the first crypto-based ETF. The reason is that Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency in the world by market capitalization, remains largely unregulated. And the SEC is hesitant to allow what is a very new and largely untested cryptocurrency market to make its way to the public as an ETF.
Now, I want to be clear, I do not respect the SEC. I do not respect them.
But before we continue with that, let's first look at what actually is a Bitcoin ETF and how a potential Bitcoin ETF may work. Well, an ETF, as many of you guys would know, is simply just an investment vehicle that tracks a particular group of assets and their respective performance. ETFs simply allow investors to diversify their portfolio without actually having to own any of the assets. So a Bitcoin ETF would simply mimic the price of the current most popular cryptocurrency. So in turn, the most popular digital currency. This would allow investors to purchase Bitcoin without having to go through the uncomfortable process that currently is buying Bitcoin. And because holders of the ETF won't actually be holding Bitcoin itself, they will not have to worry about the complex storage and security measures that are asked for cryptocurrency holders. Kinda what I already do by trading crypto through eToro as a CFD. I'm not actually owning Bitcoin, but I'm sort of trading Bitcoin as a CFD, and in turn as simple as just trading normal. Now you may be thinking, if the Bitcoin ETF merely mirrors the cryptocurrency price itself, why bother with the middleman? Why not just invest in Bitcoin? Well, there are several reasons for this. Firstly, as I mentioned before, investors of a Bitcoin ETF wouldn't have to worry about the security procedures associated with holding Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. There would also be no need to deal with cryptocurrency exchanges in the process. Investors can just buy and sell the ETF through more traditional exchanges and markets like Stake or eToro. Potentially. Also, investors would be able to play a 1000 IQ Michael Burry play and actually short sell shares of the ETF if they believe the price of Bitcoin would go down in the future. This is not something that can be done in the traditional cryptocurrency market. And perhaps most importantly, ETFs are simply just generally better understood than cryptocurrencies in the investing world. Even as digital coins and tokens become increasingly popular, an investor looking to get involved in the digital currency could focus on trading a vehicle they already understand of, instead of having to learn the ins and outs of something that can be quite daunting, making a Bitcoin ETF the perfect way for your average investor to break into the crypto market. But before we get our hopes up, the road to Bitcoin approval hasn't been an easy one. See, firms looking to launch into the Bitcoin ETF space have run into problems with regulatory agencies. Two brothers you may know, famous for their involvement with Facebook, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, had their petition to launch a Bitcoin ETF called the Winklevoss Bitcoin turned down by the SEC in 2017. So while they're definitely ahead of the game all the time, the reason for their denial was that Bitcoin is traded largely on unregulated exchanges, leaving it a bit susceptible to fraud and manipulation. So although the SEC has not yet approved of any cryptocurrency ETF combination, the majority of investors and myself remain broadly optimistic.
Are you serious?
No, he's perfect.
A Bitcoin ETF has been in the works for a number of years now, and while it may be nothing new, as we move closer and closer to cryptocurrency seeming to merge what is considered regular investing, we're also getting closer and closer to it becoming a reality, and with it potentially changing the way we invest moving forward. I personally wouldn't be surprised to see the average investor have a few different ETFs in their portfolio, with one of them being crypto-based, all I think within the next year. So a few key takeaways before we finish this video is a Bitcoin ETF mimics the price of the cryptocurrency, allowing investors to buy into the ETF without having to trade Bitcoin itself. Investing in a Bitcoin ETF cuts out any issues of storage and security procedures required of crypto holders. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, hasn't yet approved any digital currency ETF. So that's it for this video. What are your thoughts on a cryptocurrency related ETF? And if a Bitcoin ETF does actually happen, would you add it to your portfolio?